Good morning, parents. I'm Ian Grell, your child's reading, writing, and social studies teacher. And I wanted to give you a quick weekend update just to tell you how school's been going so far. So I'm going to tell you what we've done, how we're doing, and where we're going. In short, students are friendly, engaged, feeling the strain of a 5-day week, confused, and a lot of them persevere to get to clarity. I love it. Students have had an opportunity to teach each other a lot, and we've already created a few good products and presentations. Our first Socratic question in my class was, what makes us human? And I've asked this question for about 5 or 6 years now. And students sat in a socially distanced Socratic circle and got some similar answers, ones that we always agree on. Like other years have said, humans make mistakes, and humans are made in the image of God, and humans have emotions. Humans want a lot. Some new ones this year were like, humans have motivation. Maybe that's not the only thing that makes us human, but we talked about how humans can do the right things for the wrong reasons, and even sometimes we might do what's considered wrong for a right reason. And 8th grade seems to be very interested in that. Also, there was a consensus, humans find a way. It's this idea of like, if you find a problem, there is a way. There's resources, there's ideas, there's people to help. And I love that about this 8th grade class. Not only are we problem finders, but we are problem solvers as well. That got us into the next 2 4-day weeks. I delayed, or I guess I stretched out a design thinking process. It's an approach to engineering, problem solving, project-based learning. I had this kit. It's called the Extraordinaire Design Studio. Get these kind of big cards, colorful. There's pictures of a knight or a wizard or a spy, a soldier, like a futuristic kid, vampire, a dwarf, and so there's kind of their like stereotypical like, yep, this is what a spy would do, or this is what where a soldier is. And then on the back side you see, oh, they have like a surprising, unique life experience too, just in the form of pictures and some of the gadgets they use in their everyday life. We created a backstory for them and found out we kind of created a problem that they had. We created a conflict like an author does. And then we spent a whole day designing a prototype. It could have been a building, could have been clothes, could have been a car or a gadget, something to make their life better, something to address that problem. Students did so well with it. Such confident presentations, such a connect to what a person really needs, instead of like trying to create something that we want to convince something that they need to buy. So a lot of insights there on how to truly center your design and your solution seeking around people rather than just profit. Lastly, we continued that step. Students got more independent. They worked in pairs studying national parks. And we celebrated the beauty of national parks, and yet how these parks have problems, not just litter, maybe vandalism, endangered species, uncontrollable wildfires. And we researched some articles on how people are seeking solutions there. So problem solving has been a big theme so far. It was so neat. For the first 3 weeks of school, we had written more stories than we had read in my class. For each set of classes, 5 stories written with these backstories, and then 3 stories read. That's kind of the way I'd like to do things. Deeper reading instead of reading lots and lots. So our knowledge is a mile wide but an inch deep. We're doing really well. We have a peaceful classroom. Students are really helpful. They think of ways to make the classroom run more efficiently, and I'm so thankful for that. The students also do have a relationship with boredom and distraction. I've noticed, probably because of quarantine, students come into the classroom and they like immediately enter their own little world, whether that's maybe drawing or reading their own book. I think that's just a skill we've got to regain. It's thinking about those 3 months away from school in the spring. There was more unstructured time. There was more learning at your own pace. There was less of that human connection, but also less of that human expectation that I might have. I've noticed they've been able to respond really well to the redirect, though, of like, hey, I'm noticing a lot of like eyes down. What if we gave each other eye contact right now? And students are very willing so far. We're trying to notice when we're distracted, why we distract ourselves, and then just that interesting relationship with boredom as well. Only a few students seem to portray kind of that license we all give ourselves, like I'm bored, and since I'm bored, that gives me permission like not to participate or do anything. And that's a really interesting thought process, and we'll have to figure out where that comes from and why we listen to it. Lastly, where we're going. You will get news from Tim Lee and me about the DC trip this week. I apologize. There was a confusing, mixed signal. You were told that you would get a video this last week. And frankly, the DC trip is still tentative. I'm needing to do more research and to talk with the tour company just to make sure that I have my ducks in a row. This is going to be a different DC trip if and when it happens, so I needed more time to prepare. But Tim and I plan to make that video during some shared free time we have on Wednesday. So we will give that to you shortly after. We've got MAP testing this week, the lovely standardized testing, and yet it'll be really interesting to see how we were all affected from quarantine. So less just class learning with Grell, more Chromebooks, and I'm just hoping to be able to encourage kids to compete with themselves to see maybe they still grew in reading and math. It's important to get a good night's sleep, and there's limited homework this week just to be able to focus our brains on that. And then we are going to be focusing on deep reading. We'll be reading a short story this week called The Monkey's Paw, and we'll be having a debate on it, finding significant moments, interpreting how women and the poor are represented in this story, and just taking our sweet time with it to make sure that everyone understands not only what's going on, but some of the deeper meanings involved as well. So much more we could talk about, and this year can go even better. If you stay in touch with me, I want to have ears to hear your feedback about what you feel might be going well for your child and what you think could improve or what you wish could be better. Thanks so much for journeying with me as your child gets to develop and grow stronger every day. Looking forward to a good week.